Alright, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Average Joe MMA show. My name is Joe. Pretty eventful weekend we had, honestly, in terms of fights, in terms of combat sports. Mostly a celebrity boxing match was kind of the biggest thing. And I got a whole video coming about the Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley fight too. But this particular video here, I'm going to try to keep it mostly about the UFC card. I feel like, in all honesty, a pretty dope night of fights. I think it's kind of been overshadowed just because of all the stuff that came off from the Paul fight and the mostly just the knockout and how viral that's gone. But yeah, dude, a lot of kind of not a ton of controversy, but a couple big shocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to go ahead and I guess get into it, man. I mean, we kind of knew Derrick Lewis was gonna We didn't know that, but like Derrick Lewis knocking somebody out in the first round, and really that whole fight and how it went. Like, nothing about that was too shocking. I mean, it was shocking because, like, I was a big Daukaus guy, too. And while I thought that Lewis probably got it done, I didn't necessarily think that it was going to be like that. But still, like, that's not a performance that you look at and you're like, that fucking just happened? Like, that wasn't near as surprising as the Cub Swanson performance, for instance. Which, it's not surprising that Cub Swanson's a bad motherfucker. Like, that's known. You know what I'm saying? The guy's a pioneer. He is as tough as they come. He's a veteran, an absolute legend. But for him to have done what he did to Darren Elkins and to dispatch him like that in the first round was, that's unheard of, dude. Darren Elkins, let me see, I wrote it down here. Darren Elkins, I mean, like, it's not impossible to stop Darren Elkins, and it's not even necessarily impossible to knock Darren Elkins out. It's pretty fucking tough. He's a really gritty dude. The last time, though, that Darren Elkins was knocked out in the first round was 2013 by Chad Mendes. All right, and I think that was a TKO. I guess so was Cubs. But, dude, regardless, like, and Mendes was a fucking tank. It's just crazy that what he was able to do, and I get that Darren Elkins is kind of on the downward slide of his career. But, dude, you cannot deny what Cub Swanson did was fucking nuts. He was on his kind of his God mode. Like, you'll see fighters, they'll have a fight where they just really are just in tune and there's nothing that can happen to them that night. Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar, for instance. Conor versus Eddie Alvarez. Sure, this is kind of like an old guy fight version of that, but it really felt like Cub Swanson was dialed in, dude, and it was super emotional. It was wholesome as fuck watching him beat the dog shit out of a guy in front of his wife and kids. That was awesome. I kind of got all teared up and shit in the ring, man, and it really just reminded me of a quote, dude. Beware of an old man in a sport where men die young. And, dude, that's a dope. First of all, if you said that quote, which, I mean, cool if you're watching the video, but if you said that, bro, big ups to you. That shit was dope. But yeah, that's what I felt, man. There was just, to see him just, and he has such a slick, a mean style on his feet, dude. His hands are low, and he just shifts in and out. He's constantly leaning his head, and he's baiting the pull counter. He was doing this odd, like he would kind of jump off to the side and just lead with like a rear. I don't even know if it was like an uppercut or just a straight, but it was just dude, it was odd, man, but it was bouncy, and he was just cracking so fucking hard, man. He rocked Elkins, he dropped him. I think Elkins was able to, like, I think he rolled over his head and, like, popped back up. And then, like, at one point he sat down and he just threw it. I want to say it was a 1-2-3 or maybe like a 1-4-3. That two was kind of wide. But, dude, every one was such a stiff bop, bop, bop. And, dude, I mean, he was wobbling Elkins, and Elkins too tough for his own good. I'm really glad that spin kick there at the end just kind of hit him in the nose and, like, didn't, you know, flatline him, and good thing on the referee for, even though that didn't sleep him up, stepping into kind of understanding, hey, even though that last shot wasn't really the nail in the coffin that we needed, he kind of realized, like, things weren't going to get better, and he kind of protected a guy from taking more damage, who, if we're being honest, has taken a lot of damage as is. So yeah, honorable mention there, dude. Cub Swanson still fucking got it, man, and it's like, I guess he keeps going forward. That's one of those things where, like, Cub's at a point in his career where, like, if he has a really bad loss, you kind of start thinking, kind of like he just lost to Giga, and you kind of start to think, like, man, how much more does he really want to do? You know, when is an appropriate time to make the exodus? But then after something like that, it's like, man, I think the fight to make for me, bro, Cub Swanson, Bruce Leroy. I don't know if they fought before, but it would be interesting to see them. I think Alex Caceres is number 15, so to see if Cub can still hang in that ranked conversation. You know, Leroy's still kind of like, he's on, not necessarily the tail end of his career, but he's definitely an older cat as well. It would just be, I think that would be a fun one. Another one, Charles Jourdain. I almost called him Air Jourdain. Charles Jourdain. what the fuck, bro? When are we going to start talking about this kid? Like, I mean, I feel like he has got a lot of Giga Chikadze qualities in terms of just like an exciting, high action, on the feet striker. He throws not really crazy shit. He will throw some crazy shit, but he is fucking vicious, dude. And him and you will put a goddamn cracker of a fight on, man. And no one's talking about it, and I get it. I mean, things were kind of, other big shit happened. But goddamn, dude, I really think this kid ends up being a contender in the next year or two. I mean, if he keeps on the trajectory that he's at, we need to get him in there with some ranked guys. I think that the next best step, dude, in such a banger fight, dude, put Charles Jourdain in there with goddamn Shane Burgos and let those boys eat each other alive, man. That you could put that shit, that could headline a fight night, and that could be a 5-rounder, dude. I am here for that shit. Take my money. Take all of it, man. That's a fucking fight. That's a fight of the year candidate, because those dudes are dogs, man. They both are known to maybe lose the first round, kind of take an ass whooping, and come back and pour on heavy. So, dude, when Charles, I think it was in the third, he had hit Ewell, and he kind of hit him and backed Ewell up on the fence, and he was just so fucking like aggressive that he literally just dropped his hands, like flexed at this man. It was just like, like just fucking screamed, bro. I leapt off of the couch, dude. I was so goddamn jacked up when that man did that. And then he fucking throws the spin kick at the end and Spartan kicks the man in the chest at the very buzzer. And then screams at, dude, the kid is fucking, he's a stud, bro. And I'm very excited to see how they match make him. I really think the Burgos fight will be great. Burgos is coming off that war with Billy Q. That's a good fucking fight to make. Andre Ewell, it really sucks, dude, because he's 0-3 now. And that was his debut at featherweight. And dude, I feel like they might cut him over that. And dude, he's so good. Ewell is he's so sharp. His boxing is crisp. His jab is good. He's got a lot of reach, especially at featherweight. Well, no, I guess no, that's wrong. He was at bantamweight, moved up to featherweight. My bad. Either way, he looked healthier. He looked good, dude. He gets a little tired. He does gas a bit, but not horrible, I wouldn't say. I mean, like, he still finds a way. He still makes it a dogfight even in the third. So he can't. It's not like he just gets exhausted and fucking gives up on, lays down. Like, he stays in there. And I don't know, man. I don't really know where they put him now. I don't know if they cut him. If they do, I bet Ewell could go over to Bellator and do really fucking well. You know what I'm saying? Or PFL. I think that he has other options to go and build himself back up and come back to the UFC, because I really think that if Ewell could put some things together, he could find a way to make some good shit happen. I mean, he's lost, I want to say he's 0-3 this year, but dude, it's not to slouches. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's fighting really tough guys, and he's having really entertaining fights. So, yeah, I guess let's see where they go with Ewell. Last one here, Jordan Levitt. Jordan Levitt it's kind of in the way that Derrick Lewis, Jordan Levitt kind of just monkey kinged on him. You know what I'm saying? He went out there, he grapple fucked a guy, and then he got a weird ass submission. You know what I'm saying? Well, he didn't even get a weird submission. Well, he got a weird submission. I mean, I meant that in the sense that, like, he didn't get a lot of weird submissions. But last time when we saw him fight, I can't think of the guy's name. Chris Linland, maybe. The guy that he picked up, dude jumped guard, he like slammed him on his back and it knocked the dude out. He gets weird finishes, gets odd shit. I know he just lost one in between now and then. But what I'm saying is now he gets the inverted triangle, so it's just like, this guy's crafty, is my point that I'm trying to wrap around and prove here. If you fucking fight the Monkey King, which that should tip you off a bit, they're referring to him as the Monkey King, because they seem like a crafty animal. Either way, man, the guy, he's got some fucking tricks up his sleeve, you know? You try to pull guard, he'll slam you and then, like, slam you with his forearm in your neck and, like, knock you out. And if you fuck around and get a double leg on him and put yourself in a bad position, he's going to wrap up this one was kind of weird. I don't even know if it was more of a neck crank, because it didn't look that tight. But, I'm not the guy in there. Maybe Sales was already tired and he was kind of, weakened, and then he was kind of getting the side of his neck cranked on, and he kind of was like, man, fuck this. I don't know. Also, bad look on Sales, dude, getting caught in some weird submissions. He's just the dude that you can throw flying shit on or something. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy that, like, he's a bad motherfucker, but you can also, you can catch him in inverted triangles and twisters. So it's bad luck that he's getting caught in such weird submissions. Yeah, man. I remember watching Sales when he had debuted, and, I mean, he had a lot of promise. They were talking, he comes from a good camp. He had a lot of good stuff going for him. So I hope they don't cut him over this. I hope that he can, get some better matchmaking. Yeah, I mean, it's not like don't hang your hat and be sad that you fucking got submitted by Jordan Levitt and Bryce Mitchell. There's definitely worse submission artists out there. Okay, so breaking into the main card, on Angela Hill and I believe it's Amanda Lemos. Close fight, dude. Close fight. I thought Angela Hill won the split decision. They gave it to Lemos. This is just a thing for Angela, isn't it? There's a lot of split decisions that maybe she didn't deserve to lose, or even if she did deserve to lose, there's a lot of decisions that you're like, man, that makes sense as a split decision. There's so many close fights leaving it to the hands of the judges, and I don't know, man. I don't really know how to where you go with it, because she's a very good fighter. She's so well rounded. And she has all these fights, these decisions are fights that she could have won. So she can, in theory, beat the best in the world. It's just a tough spot to be in. You know, you lose a certain amount of times. Definitely don't cut her, but it's like I don't really know who you match her with, because she's also fought fucking everyone. It seems like she's had so many fights. I don't know, man. Maybe you give her somebody that she lost a close decision to. Try to let her run that one back. Maybe she can try to get that one back from Michelle Watterson, maybe. Maybe that's the way to go. A Karate Hottie rematch, I guess, potentially. I don't know, man. Just somebody a little bit easier. I would say that, yeah. Let her try to avenge a close loss, and that kind of becomes the narrative. And then maybe you can even make that a thing where she's going, and maybe if she gets her, she can go to Torres next or something like that. And Torres, that brings me, I think that's maybe who you go with Amanda Lemos. You have two people, two really tough, kind of controversial split decision wins over Angela Hill. Put them against each other. So yeah, that'd be fun. I know that Torres was just doing that bodybuilding thing for a second. I don't know if you guys also saw that. So not really sure how much training she's been doing, maybe specifically for MMA. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe she comes back with some newfound strength or something kind of from that endeavor and how her body was able to grow. So that'll be interesting. Let's see who else we have. Yeah, co-main event. So Bilal Muhammad, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I'm a big fan of both those guys. I love Bilal. Everybody loves Wonderboy. It's just kind of sad to see Wonderboy lose. I thought Bilal had it in him to get it done. I thought that his wrestling style was going to give Wonderboy problems, but I didn't think that I saw it maybe being this close cut. I really thought that Wonderboy would be able to at least give him some weird looks for the first round, and I thought that Bilal would kind of have to maybe figure things out into the second and third, but it kind of felt like it was pretty much all Bilal from jump. I think this was a record for the most times Wonderboy had been taken down as well. That's tough, man. It's one of those things where, like, Wonderboy, you don't want to, I don't know, man. You don't want to give him too easy of a fight. You can't be like, okay, well, Wonderboy's, he's lost 2 in a row, but he's lost him to Gilbert and to Bilal, so you can't just give him an unranked guy. You can't just give him a super low guy, but you do kind of want to acknowledge that he is getting a bit older, and if you give him a wrestler, you give him somebody that's kind of watched 2 dudes take him down and get a dub on him before. I don't know, man. I would say the best matchup moving forward for him, maybe Ponzinibbio. That's a dude, I want to say he's 14 or 15 right now. It's a striker for the most part that I think would give a good fun fight. You could put that anywhere on a main card or on a pay-per-view. And kind of see, hey, if he can beat Ponzi, man, if he can outstrike him and show us that he still has what it takes, you can kind of keep him in that same conversation. But I think that the ship has sailed, because I know for a minute there it was like, oh, well, Wonderboy's like the best welterweight that Kamaru still hasn't fought, yada yada yada. And I think after watching that, it's pretty understandable what I think we could expect if he fought Kamaru. And that's not to take anything away from Wonderboy. It's just if there's been a particular hole in the game that's been pointed out, and then you also want to fight a guy that's maybe the greatest to have done it, or maybe the pound for pound best right now, plus that's his main thing is the wrestle game, you're kind of in a tough spot. So I think that we can kind of close that book on Wonderboy versus Usman. But I think, yeah, Wonderboy versus Ponzi, somebody like that would be a fun one. Let's give him somebody ranked, but maybe a striker, a more favorable matchup a little bit lower down the card. In terms of Bilal, Vicente Luque? Question mark. I know that everybody's saying Luque deserves a title shot, and I kind of feel that way too. But in all honesty, Usman's tied up for a minute with Leon, and I bet even after he beats Leon, he's probably going to want to take a little bit of time off. I don't think it's probably smart for Bilal to sit around twiddling his fucking thumbs. It wouldn't be a good look. So I think the best thing, I know he called for the title shot, I think, or maybe called for Colby. That's a fun fight too, but I still feel like Colby's maybe a little bit out of the range. Not to say that he couldn't beat Colby. I would like to see the fight, but I feel like Colby's kind of tied up with Jorge. There's certain things that are happening, storyline wise, that I think are for better fights down the line there. So I think maybe right now Bilal versus Luque, and the winner coming out of that definitely gets the winner of Usman versus Leon Edwards, which I would predict to be Usman. Clearly, if Edwards wins, you have a rematch, and there's a whole fucking thing there. But I don't know. I guess right now, immediately, below Luque would probably be the next move that I would make. And in terms, man, I already kind of touched on the main event, just in what I thought about it. You know, Derrick Lewis getting in Chris Daukaus' face. He put him out. He closed the distance on him, and he made the speed of Daukaus is great, and all heavyweights hit hard. So when you're a fast heavyweight, it gives you such an advantage because you're able to land 5 or 6 knockout punches, you know, in the same span that you know, your opponent, yeah, he might be hitting you with two or three harder shots, but a knockout's a knockout. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes somebody like Daukaus almost troublesome to deal with, and kind of like Tom Aspinall as well. A quick on his feet heavyweight can, you know, an athletic guy can be a bit difficult. We don't see a lot of those either. So sometimes I think it also throws the opponent off because they're, you know, it's a new look as opposed to the kind of, you know, stand and bang heavyweight or even like a wrestle heavyweight, you know, that we're used to seeing. But still, when you close the distance on a guy like that, that speed and the power didn't really work on the same, trying to, you know, throw at least for Daukaus. Daukaus is, you know, his power was more of a throwing 1-2s from range, and he could even mix up, you know, the 3s into it, throw hooks and uppercuts too. But a lot of it was off of at range. He had good speed, good power at that range, at that distance, rather. And I think Derrick Lewis just drug him into an area where it's like, hey, my power versus your power, but I'm also going to fight you in a jail cell. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put you in the goddamn phone booth with me, and I'm pretty confident I'm leaving the phone booth. And he was right, man. He put his chips on the table, put his goddamn nuts on the table, and he left, man. He walked out with all the money. So good on him. It sucks for Daukaus. I think that in terms of another matchup for Daukaus, like I just commented, Aspinall's not a bad one. It's kind of I have two. So if you're looking at what Daukaus could do, and you know that he just got stopped, I think this is his first loss in the UFC. I think he was 4-0 coming into this, if I'm not mistaken. You know what he can do. You feel like he still has a chance to be, you know, to be moved up the rankings. You give him somebody like Tom Aspinall. You give him another young up-and-comer. They're both fast, athletic heavyweights. You let them bang it out on a main event, a fight night or something like that, and see what both guys have. I think that if you kind of want to give him maybe more of a tune-up, you give him an Augusto Sakai, somebody that just lost a knockout. He needs to come up off something. You need to come up off something that both got put out in the first round. So you could honestly, I would probably go that first. I would go Sakai first. Now that I'm thinking about it, no need to try to feed him to Aspinall. Not even necessarily say that he can't beat him or that a first round knockout to Derrick Lewis means you can't fight or that you got to hang him up. I'm not saying that at all, but you definitely don't want to have a guy who's got all this potential and he gets knocked out in the first round and then you immediately give him another monster, and then if he gets knocked out there or loses that fight at all, momentum in psychology is such a huge thing in this sport. So that's why you see people like Sean O'Malley are being kind of groomed. That kind of sounded weird. It sounded like he was a little kid, right? Not groomed. Kind of their records are being padded. They're being brought up in a certain way. They're being you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not gonna keep the source in this shit. But regardless, yeah, I think that maybe give him Sakai and then kind of work from there. In terms of Derrick Lewis says he doesn't want to fight 5-round fights anymore, and it's hard to ever tell what he's saying. He's is joking or when he's just fucking around, I bet he's probably being kind of serious, With that being said, I think that the next best fight, and I didn't even think about this, I think Brendan Schaub maybe had said it. I was watching this thing the other day, so I'm not going to try to act like I was the guy that came up with this. Derrick Lewis and Tai Tuivasa. Sign that shit up, man. He said he'll fucking bang on with anyone, and I goddamn guarantee Derrick Lewis reciprocates that energy. So you could have those guys open up a pay-per-view to where it doesn't have to be a 5-rounder, and they can go. I promise the fight's not going into a 6th-minute period, so it doesn't matter how many rounds you book it for. But so yeah, man, good night of fights. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. I know there was a lot of fights that I didn't have enough time to get to, so if I missed one that you guys really enjoyed, drop a comment on it. Let me know what you guys thought about that one, and I'll fuck around with you guys and message back and forth down there. And then yeah, I got some shit coming about the Jake Paul fight as well, so be on the lookout for that, I guess. Until next time, man, y'all take it easy.